Okay, Reggie, I would, if you were anybody else, I would welcome you back, but this is pretty much your home. So I've got a bunch of questions today, so we can get into a bunch of various topics.
Yeah. Like I said, John, we're gonna be dropping on 9 a.m. Pacific time every day until they get tired of us or we run out of stories. Then we're gonna get other interviews in
Mm-hmm.
between. And I know you know the lineup plan. I don't want to put it out there because other YouTubers will start reaching out to them. And but yeah, we got some good interviews coming up. So it's not just 6 8, which is going well. And first of all, I want to say that's not our normal crew that did that recording. So y'all get off of John Head about the audio on the 6 8 interview. Just listen to it and hear the content, and that's it. But y'all know that that's not Bomb First quality. He just lives out in the Midwest, and we had to hire somebody from the Midwest. But yeah, John, I just had to throw that out there because I hate seeing negative comments.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so first question is, I'm hearing there's been an uptick in activity when it comes to Keefe D and the Las Vegas PD, that they may be actually trying to do something to further the investigation into the Tupac murder. Have you heard anything about that? Any
Yeah,
opinions about it?
let's put it this way. I bet Keefe D been having the runs for the last 2 weeks. Um, because yeah, they are knocking on doors, and there's some activity. And matter of fact, over here on Bomb First, let's do something. Got some stuff I want to give away. Got some bunch of merchandise in. I've been trying to get y'all to participate in the comment section. So before we get started, I want to throw out a challenge. Everybody that comes and subscribe, put in a date in the comment section. We're gonna take the first one, so y'all put the same date in. Then whoever posted it first gonna get the reward. Now, let me say this. After going to prison myself, I'm not one for trying to see another black man go to prison and all of that. But for two things, I always tell y'all. Well, three: murder, sex crimes, and beating up on a woman. Bye. Bye. You deserve to be there, in my opinion. And so, other than that, I'm not for one going to prison or going to be trying to help put you in there. But those three things, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm a bad black man if y'all want to call me that. But what we're going to do, just put up in the comment section the date that nigga going to be arrested before this year is up. And whoever picked out the correct date, then you'll get something in the mail if you want to. Some of you motherfuckers might say, I don't want no death row stuff. I want some cash out. We'll come up with a number. $50. I'm cheap these days. $50 for those of y'all don't want no merchandise. But a lot of you do. And so you pick the correct date, you'll get that if you want to participate. I know some of you brothers act like y'all don't want to participate with seeing another man go to jail. But for the murder of Tupac and Biggie, which that person is dead. But yeah.
Snoop recently did an interview on Drink Champs. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but in that interview, he pretty much discusses the fact that he is going to do a collaboration with Bad Boy, between Death Row and Bad Boy, and that he never had any issues with the Bad Boys, and that he always had love for Puffy and all this. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, that might be true. He might have, relationship. I like what he said about his sons. I'm for that. That's a great response. I didn't know that. That's some new information. I didn't know. I knew their sons wouldn't play at UCLA together or was there. His son was there for a short time. And Puffy's son got in a little trouble and got kicked off the team. But I didn't know they'd been friends and been cool since the age of 6. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. And so that's commendable to be, in my opinion. And that makes sense what he's saying. What he's trying to say is, hey, these gonna be the future. They're gonna be the ones taking care of bad boys in death row. And so, if that's what they want to do, and they gonna be working together, then yeah. But what do we want to hear from Death Row and Bad Boys other than a greatest hit album? Tell me, other than a greatest hit album, what can they do? I ain't hating. I'm just speaking facts. Now they go out there and find some little youngsters, like Nate Dogg's son. If he's have 50% of his dad's talent, then yeah, that might be good. You'll see something like that. But I haven't heard them speak on a artist yet that is under 40 that I want to listen to. I haven't heard them say that yet. Reggie's opinion, y'all gonna hate on me, y'all gonna talk about me. But when I said about 50-year-old rappers, I don't want to see no 50-year-old rappers. Everybody jumped on me. But not one of y'all can tell me the name of that song with Ice Cube, Snoop, what is it, Legends or something like that? West Coast Legends or something like that? Y'all can't tell me the name of that song without going Googling it right now. You lie if you didn't, or you did. Because the record sales don't show that y'all supporting it like that. Go ahead, John.
Do you feel that Snoop never had an issue with Bad Boy even when Tupac was there? He always claims that he didn't want any drama, that he didn't want to participate, and that he didn't participate. But obviously there's some footage out there, there's some audio out there that says otherwise. What do you think?
Well, we know Snoop's trying to rewrite history, y'all. How you don't have an issue with somebody that did a pop shot and fired shots at your trailer? He didn't say in the interview specifically Biggie, as he's trying to say now, that he would do a song with. He said he was talking about people on the East Coast. I was there. I saw the interview. I know the interview. So now they're trying to rewrite history and say, he said right there that he wouldn't have a problem with Biggie. That's not what he said. He said with people, artists on the East Coast. Now, Biggie was an artist on the East Coast. So in his mind, he could have been meaning that. But he didn't say that. John, ain't there something else out there? Well, we all heard about the diss song. I ain't gonna speak on it because I can't find it. But y'all done heard about it. Y'all done heard people say that Snoop did a Biggie or Bad Boy diss song. All right. But John, there's something else out there that's just as big. I'll let John speak on it because I'm tired of coming off as the hater. I'm tired of it. John, you tell it.
Yeah, so in this clip, it's directly after the MTV Music Awards in 1996 with Tupac and Snoop. And you'll hear the interviewer ask that both of them if there's ever a dream to record an album with Puffy and Bad Boy. Tupac immediately shuts it down and says there is no dream to record anything with them. And Snoop says, this is our family over here. Basically agreeing with Tupac that there is no dream to record anything with them. So that just shows.
Can you envision a day when, y'all, if not get together and make an album, just peacefully coexist?
There's no dream of making an album with Biggie and Puffy, or none of them. We're not sweating it like that.
This is our
We
family over
peacefully
here.
coexist.
And I just wanted to say, that's 2 to 3 hours later after the Angie Martinez video. So maybe he had a change of heart later on. But like I just explained to y'all, he never said Biggie and that Angie Martinez artist. He said that he would record with East Coast artists. And as Pac always told y'all, he told y'all hit him up. What? I don't have a problem with the East Coast. I have a problem with certain motherfuckers on the East Coast. As I'm sure he had problems with certain motherfuckers on the West Coast. Did we forget about Badal? All right, we won't bring that up. But y'all know, we forget about that little issue, right? Ice Cube, Badal, he took offense to that. So he had an issue with Ice Cube at the time. But, okay.
Okay, speaking of the MTV Awards, can you tell me a little bit about the trip that you went to with Tupac and Suge and everybody to attend those MTV Awards, and then give me some details about the after party?
Well, let me say this right now, John about to get mad at me. Reason why we're repeating a lot of this stuff, because we never did it on video or on camera at Bomb First. So I know y'all done heard it. Art spelled it out very well with the boys from Jersey, the two guys with you know, I only disagree with about 2% of what they said. You know, one guy said it was a lot of guys. One guy said it was only about 5 or 6 little guys with Nas. I think he misspoke there. But other than that, Art and them did a great job on explaining that. But yeah, after the award show, well, prior to the award show, Pac had a couple of run-ins. He had a run-in with LL. LL was trying to holler at him. He wouldn't acknowledge LL. LL Cool J. He wouldn't even speak to him. LL kept trying to get his attention. He ignored LL. And then he had a problem with the boy with the sickle cells, Mobb Deep in there, where he got into a little exchange of words with them and all of that. And so, yeah. But then later on that night, we went back to the hotel. He changed clothes, and then we went to the MTV. You know, I keep saying it's an MTV after party, which I believe it was, but I'm not sure because I know big record companies usually give parties afterwards. The award shows usually be glad just to get over the award show and only invite exclusives to their after parties, which I know this party was open up to everybody by evidence of all those people in the park. But Snoop always claimed to be in earshot and show me any pictures with Snoop at. He wasn't in earshot of that confrontation between Nas and Pac at all. But Nas and Pac had a run-in that later became a meeting of the minds. And what I mean by that is those two men talked. Those two men could have probably gave some nudges or raised their hand or told people that's in their entourage to do something, and it would have jumped off. They didn't do that. They were grown men about it. Talked, worked it out, end up embracing or dapping each other and talking about doing either music together or an album together, a Tupac and Nas collab. And I remember him telling Suge right then, which I know Suge didn't do, and because of timing and timing only, or other pressing things on his mind, was to take off the verse of dissing Nas off the Hail Mary, what was the name of the song? Not Hail Mary.
Against All Odds.
Against All Odds track, taking this verse out about Nas and replacing it, which unfortunately never happened.
And that was the second trip that you went to New York with Tupac on. Can you tell me about the first one when you went to do Saturday Night Live?
Correct. So, a couple of weeks or a week after All Eyes on Me was released, which was February 13th, 1996, Tupac, y'all know Saturday Night Live films live. We were the first guests that ever went to Saturday Night Live that didn't what? Show up the group dress rehearsal. They told us that. We didn't get there, or Pac just didn't go to dress rehearsal, which usually done on Thursdays. And I remember the producers at the after party telling us, y'all the first guests that never, showed up for rehearsal. But they wanted Pac that bad then. And so Pac and Danny Boy, and I think it was Big Psycho, one of them, they all went and performed and did a little song on there. Pac did a couple of little skits on there with a couple of the actors or actress. And so we went there that Saturday, filmed it. But prior to that, we were out in a hotel in upstate New York area probably about an hour out. We normally stayed at either the X's house or the Four Seasons when we went to New York. But that particular night, we stayed out of the way. I'll put it that way. We did come in the city. We went to Benihana's. I remember Eric B, Hammer. I think Big D was there. Not 100% sure on that. But a couple of dudes from New York met us at Benihana's, and we went and ate at Benihana's in the New York area. And then we went back to the hotel. That night, though, I think that Saturday night is when the snowball incident happens, which don't like really speaking on. I done got to know Kendrick Wells lately. Kendrick's a good dude. You know, he kind of details it. He don't go into great details about it. He just say he don't want to talk about it. But he kind of tells how he didn't understand how people were bullying him and hitting on him on the elevator and stuff like that. And so I respect it and leave it there. But y'all done heard me tell the story about the snowball incidents, which I know is the reason that Kendrick and Mopreme got sent home. And they was no longer around after that incident. So yeah, that was New York trip. You know, some of y'all want to get mad for Pac allowing that to happen to Mopreme. I remember they not blood brothers. They half brothers or step brothers. And Pac wasn't really trusting. Pac was on some, he trying to find out. He had just got rid of his whole team. Everybody didn't come over to Death Row with him. Y'all got to remember, he had a whole crew that was with him out in New York and stuff. And he wasn't trusting people like that then. And when he found out you was weak, he was getting rid of you. And I believe that's what happened. Not saying that they wouldn't have worked it out, because I know they probably would have. But that's what happened, y'all. Take it where you want. I'm the only one who can speak on stuff. Everybody else trying to protect relationships. Reggie just telling the facts because he's tired of people rewriting history.
When Tupac joined Death Row, shortly thereafter, you guys did a concert series that was an Eazy-E tribute. I think you only did shows in Cleveland and New Orleans. I've always wondered this, if it was an Eazy-E tribute, number one, why wasn't Dr. Dre there, and why wasn't Snoop there as well?
Great question. Whew. Originally, it was supposed to have been about a 10 or 11 album tour. I mean, not album, you know, a tour. Dre and Snoop and Pac and Quick, I believe, were the headliners. It eventually just being Pac, Outlaws, Quick, Caution. That's all I can really remember right now. And I'm sure Danny Boy was there, or maybe Miss Chalet. But, well, I know they were on a trip. Don't remember seeing them perform, though. But what happened was Dr. Dre, probation officer, wouldn't allow him to become because of what? He was on house arrest at the time for the incident, either the DUI or the D. Barnes incident. I forget why he was on probation at the time, but he was wearing an ankle monitor. And he wasn't allowed to come. Snoop. And this is a story I got to get when we have Big C Style. Big C Style coming on sometime next month. And Snoop and Big C Style were riding down the freeway. And they got into a verbal altercation, allegedly, with an off-duty police officer, female white. And y'all know black guys generally don't be messing with no white woman, older woman riding down the street. So I think it's some bullshit behind it. But she alleged that Snoop Dogg pointed a gun at her on the freeway. And they were trying to get his bail revoked. And that's what eventually happened. It didn't get revoked, But he eventually got placed on house arrest where he wasn't able to travel and to he had to be in by a certain time. I don't think he was even allowed to come to the recording studio for a while. And that's what and he definitely wasn't allowed to be able to around other gang members and people from his neighborhoods and stuff. And so he kind of got shut down where he didn't have that freedom being out on bail for the murder case. And so he wasn't allowed to go on the trip as well. The judge wouldn't approve it. And I'll say the story with the incident with the female police officer, which we all know he didn't. That's when my big boy, Big C Style, fell on the sword. And he fell on the sword for Snoop. But it's his story, and we'll get him to tell that story, the rest. Yeah. But to make a long story short, Snoop got his conditions was not revoked, but was strengthened or made harder for him to do things.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about, we touched on it very, very briefly in the last interview, but can you go into detail about the situation that happened with the All Eyes on Me tape and DJ Quick, or DJ Quick's bodyguard or friend or something leaking it out? Can you go into detail about that?
Yeah. You know, I've been saying something wrong. Somebody done called me on a mistake. He said, Reggie, you ain't lying, but you a mistake. And I did some background checking. And I've been giving y'all false information about something. Not much. And I call my mistakes like some of y'all don't. Y'all just be like, y'all just go away when I be like, well, call me on that lie. Tell me that lie. It's a difference between a lie, a mistake, and bad information. Or inaccurate information. Well, one of the big homies that guy I respect, he ain't a big homie because he's younger than me. But he was like, Reg, you telling that story wrong, man. Don Zilli not from Hollywood, which is a Piru area in Compton as well. He from Fruit Town or Treetop. I forget which one he said now. I think he said Fruit Town. I said, Don Zilli, you talking about us from Fruit Town, homie? So he said, you need to correct that. So I'm correcting it. And so, but anyway, Don Zilli was Quick's bodyguard. And Quick was the one that mixed the album down, All Eyes on Me, not Dr. Dre. Quick did it. DJ Quick mixed down All Eyes on Me. And so he took it, and you know, when you're mixing down the album, you get access to a lot of stuff. And Trayvon and somebody was up to Untouchable Sounds, my boy Melvin in Compton. Him and Big Spanky shop. Rest in peace, Spanky. And they were, I guess he sold them or he was bringing a bunch of tapes up there. And Trayvon and them heard them bumping the sounds, heard them bumping All Eyes on Me. They knew the music. Why? They were around the studio. But they didn't have access to it either because back then you treated your music like gold. You didn't let it out. You didn't want it leaked like you kind of want it leaked out nowadays. And so they heard it. Trayvon was like, where you got it from? And he's like, oh, Don Zilli brought it up here. That's when Suge called the meeting. And this was a homie meeting, homeboy meeting, not no artist meeting or anything like that. The only artist probably was in there was Quick. If Quick was in there, I'm not even 100% sure that Quick was in there. But I know the homies that y'all know, Heron, not Heron, I'm sorry. Heron wasn't even in there. Trey, Buntry, Neckbone. To be honest, I think that was about it. Suge, Don Zilli. Oh, Rock, of course. They were all in the office. Probably G, because G was still around. They were all in the office. And so Suge was like, Don Zilli, man, you out of pocket, man. You wrong. You faulty for doing that, man. You know, but what's one thing about Pirus and Bloods back then? They wasn't in all that shooting each other and all of that. They usually worked stuff out among each other. And he was like, man, you got to take a favor with one of the homies. You got to pick one of the homies. And Don Zilli was looking around, sizing up everybody. probably was gonna call Trey, because he was the smallest. That's the only reason I'm saying that. And because Rock was small in height, that nigga probably had some 20s on. I ain't gonna say 22s because that was neck bone, and they only had the 22s. But Rock probably had some 20s, but Rock was a big knock. He was Rock. He was knocked up. And he was like, fuck that shit. I'll take the fade, homie. And bombed on Donzelli. And then, it went there. Donzelli ain't no punk either. So, he fought back. But, yeah, that's the story with Donzelli and Rock and the music getting leaked to the streets at the car wash. Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to read this little paragraph to you that's summarizing the lawsuit issues between the estate or Afeni and Death Row, and then get your take on this. So I'll start off by saying, by reading actually, successful lawsuits were won by the estate to gain merchandising rights to Shakur's image, which means it would also receive royalties from t-shirts, posters, hats, etc. They also won a suit against Death Row to gain the rights to unreleased material. Death Row then filed a $7.1 million suit demanding reimbursement for cash advances that Shakur allegedly used for cars, houses, jewelry, and other expenses. Then the estate filed a 41-page countersuit, and I believe this is what that YouTuber always reads from, a countersuit, which is accusations that they make towards the person they are going against. But it says the estate filed a 41-page countersuit accusing Death Row of looting $50 million from Shakur and to maintain the extravagant lifestyles of the label head Marion Suge Knight and other executives. What are your thoughts on that?
What year was that? What year was that lawsuit filed?
This was all stuff that led up to you guys settling with the estate and being cool. This was all the back and forth before that happened.
That was my point. That was my point for asking that. So could you tell us the date? Do you see it? Do you have it?
The date's not on here, but I'm assuming it's 1997. It would have to be.
Well, my point, and the only reason I'm asking you that is because, in a lawsuit, you make all type of claims. You make claims, and that's what happens. But throwing out all of those numbers, and we throwing out our numbers, and proving in what they call discovery, the amount of money that was advanced versus the amount of money that came in, guess what they settled for? Y'all tell me. Guess what? I'll briefly summarize it to you, and let's see if the groupie can come back and dispute any of this. $3 million. And the right to gain 25% royalty rate after recoupment, 25% royalty rate, from 18 to 25% rate on any future songs or albums that are released from Death Row hence afterwards or henceforward. So what does that mean, y'all? Death Row's still gonna be in business with Tupac, or being able to just be the record label or the label of Tupac. There were some issues that I explained to y'all before where Amaru later wanted to come and have their input on the back. And it was a couple of albums until I was able to get it worked out where we didn't put any labels on the back. But then eventually we did. But we was in business. That means we came to agreement. They said, okay, all is owed is about $3 million. We, people round things off. We'll take $3 million and we gonna get a higher royalty rate and everything resumes. We did, 4, 5 albums after that? 2 songs on Chronic 2000, 2 songs on Too Gangsta for Radio, a greatest hit album, Still I Rise, Until the End of Time, Better Days. All the albums was done with us after that. So people don't do business with people if they, or you take it to court. You don't settle if you feel that your rights has been taken. Miss Shakur wasn't a lady that needed a whole bunch of money. This lady is about principle. If y'all know anything about her, she's a lady about principle, don't need a lot of money. She had other income coming in. She did a movie during that time. She did a poetry album or a book or something. I forget what it was because I didn't ever in life look at it, I'll be honest, because I'm not into poetry. She did with Jive Records and Interscope, the stuff that was released or that was recorded prior to him going to prison, not even being on that road, going to prison. Are You Still Down album. She did that. So she had money coming in. She had money that was getting generated from All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. Royalties still coming in. So she didn't need money. And she wasn't about money like that. So if there wasn't advisement by her attorneys that this is a good deal, my point is saying that she wouldn't have taken it. And so that throws all that bull crap out the window that y'all letting this man tell y'all. My last thing on this is, okay, if it's all true, because he got paperwork that you can get off the internet. We told y'all where to go and get it. That's all he got. Why? Why did Death Row take Machiavelli and All Eyes on Me? I did 3 different distribution deals with that album. I took it to Priority first, once we took it from Interscope. Then I took it to a company in Sacramento called DNA. And then I took it to Koch. If we didn't own it, how can you just take it and be moving it around like that? All right, y'all. But y'all believe the groupie, man. Tired of arguing about it. Tired of talking about it. Y'all take it. But John, ain't it an agreement out there? And I won't let you read it, John, because I'm tired. Maybe they'll listen to you, John. There's an agreement out there. And I hope you pin it up, John. I hope you pin it up or blow it up and put it so the idiots, they like to see paperwork so they can read it. The ones that like that. I know 50% of y'all is like, this dude is crazy. We get it. We get he's a groupie. He likes taking pictures with everybody. We get it. He's just trying to make some money off of pop. He did great over there, Art the Dialogue channel. Art the Dialogue people get views like that. But look at his. So I know it's not all of y'all. I know his channel don't get no views. So I get it. But John, from his caller in Iowa, I love that. He always do. Nigga, is there any other writers that write you other than the white boy from Iowa? I know it's not. I know it's some other people that you can create up. Make another city. Say Atlanta. Or say Chicago or somewhere. Stop using that guy. But anyway, that alleged guy, that made up guy, because those are your questions, fool. But anyway, John, read to them and explain to them, because maybe they'll listen to you, man. I've been beating this on this. Been beating it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So on September 15th, 95, Tupac had written up a letter that basically stated he wanted Suge to be his manager.
Let me correct you right there. I don't
okay.
think it was Tupac. I don't want to put out no bad information.
Oh, okay.
I really believe David Kennedy wrote that. So let me correct that.
Gotcha.
Okay, but go ahead.
Okay. But what it states, and this is my personal opinion, is that this is why a lot of that typed up paperwork refers to Out the Gutter and TNT and Atlantic and all this stuff, is because in this original agreement it states that album number 1 from Tupac, On Death Row, will be released in 1995. The album will consist of already recorded material to be remixed by Dr. Dre. Snoop Doggy Dogg will make a guest appearance, and that's going to be the first album. So that would essentially contain music that he recorded under the umbrella, I guess you would say, that he was representing of Out the Gutter Records, which probably still had residuals from TNT when he was doing stuff with them. and that would be why Atlantic was involved. So to know why all these people were involved, that was the original plan. Was I guess it was either a backup for if Tupac was
Let me say
not
it. Let
going
me
to
say
be.
it, John. Let me
Go
say
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
I don't gotta say it. Maybe they ain't
Go
gonna
ahead.
listen to this part. Because they wasn't for sure he was gonna get out on the appeal bond. And this was a way for him to continue to make some money. That's why he's putting that in there. A management. As far as you go out and make this stuff happen. I'm giving you the authority to go and make me some more money, generate some more money, Suge. Just in case I don't get out. But if not, if I do get out, then what I'm gonna do, John? Say it to him again. What he gonna do?
He was going to do all new material. But if he didn't get out, they were going to use material he already had left over from Interscope.
Exactly. Whew. Digest that, y'all. I know my older, smarter people gonna understand and comprehend it. And I know some of you people have, I'm really starting to understand why we rank 13 in the world in education for us, because a lot of y'all reading comprehension is limited. Limited.
uh, 6'8" did an interview. We talked about if you were an engineer and you were working with Tupac, you better change the reels and do everything quick or you might get a beat down. Speaking of that, did you ever hear about incidents at the studio that involve staff? Not so much with artists and the homeboy people, but actual studio employees.
Well, like I said, that was their sanctuary. A lot of stuff that went back on there only came if the studio manager or something like that brought it to security, because they didn't go back there in the studio sessions. An engineer would have came and been snitching on one of them, he was gone. But it was usually the runners. People always get the engineers and the seconds mixed up. Like you always say, Lance. Lance was a second. That guy that was talking a little bit, Tommy D, Dave, Aaron, Keston Wright, Rick Clifford, all of those was our engineers. Those were the regular engineers. And everybody had their favorites, their guys. But the ones and stuff like that was happening too, that people didn't really know the difference, were called second engineers. Those are the ones that did all the work for the engineers. And then your runners, those are the ones that go and get you your cigarettes, go and get you your hamburgers and your food runs and all of that, your liquor runs and all of that is what your runners did at the studio. And you had all of those three. Those were usually little young guys trying to grow up. They all probably, I bet you about 3 of those runners and 3 of those seconds are probably millionaires somewhere now because they had that training and because they were young, 22, 23-year-olds, and I bet you they now major engineers somewhere. All the guys that were those. And so that's who they was generally talking about. But your Tommy D, your Dave Aaron, Butch Small. Butch Small was really a percussion guy, but he was like a studio guy that gathered up everything, somebody we trust dearly. Good dude from Detroit, Butch Small. But anyway, people like that, they didn't touch on them. They didn't mess with them because they were a different class, different level, different education. They carried themselves differently. When you get victimized like that, it's usually because they already know you. Small, I would say that. Okay, I'll say the word. Weak is the ones that usually get victimized like that. Because you victimize me or somebody that's normal, you might get us, but it ain't gonna stop there, I guarantee you. It ain't gonna stop right there. That's on everything, nigga.
Okay. Can you talk to me a little bit about Suge starting to grow? Because Suge and Puffy were friends, as you've talked about before. You have experience, with them interacting. But can you tell me what initially made Suge start to sour a little bit on Puffy?
I'll give y'all a rundown on things that happened. All right. Like y'all done heard in interviews, I think Puffy spoke on it before. I heard an interview that Puffy said, Puffy used to work for this guy named Andre Harrell. Rest in peace, Andre Harrell. He used to be the president over at Uptown Records. He's the one that really blew up Heavy D, Jodeci, Mary J, and all of them. Puffy was like his A&R guy, which is y'all gonna learn. Most of y'all that's old enough now knows. Say, oh, Andre Harrell used to work for Puffy. Okay, yeah, I know. But calm down. So Andre Harrell is the one that gave Puffy his break. And he did the 411 album and all of that. Suge allowed Puffy to use a lot of his samples on Death Row and stuff like that on Biggie's albums and stuff that projects that Puffy like. Because I always talk about Johnny J being a sample king. Puffy's worse. Puffy will sample your stuff, or his hitman team, or his whatever he called them, they will sample the hell out of your stuff. And so when Puffy came to town, Suge used to go pick him up I remember a couple of times, he went and picked him up from the airport and stuff like that. And vice versa, he ain't never picked us up because Suge always had a limo. Suge was crazy with limos. I used to be like, all right, Suge, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's let the limo man go get some sleep. Oh, nah, fuck that, Red. He can sleep in the car. No, Suge, let that man go home and shower up because we're going to be starting back up at 9 in the morning. But Suge he would make that limo driver sit around 24 hours. He didn't care. If they wanted to go change, just have a car always out there. So I'm not saying Suge did that. But I'm saying have Puffy come pick him up. But we went up to Puffy's office a couple of times and met with him and they talked and had meetings. I don't know everything that was said in all the meetings. I only said in one, but they had a cool working relationship. We used to go and watch Biggie all the time perform. They worked the hell out of that album. That's one thing I give them credit for. The 1.5 million records that they sold at the time, I know it eventually sold more, but at the time they had only sold about 1.5 million, you know, when it was hot and everything was coming out. They worked the hell out of that album, which was good. That was a new artist. Craig Mack is who we got the deal for. Craig Mack was supposed to be Puffy's first artist out. Flavors in your ear, man. But Biggie took over. He took over that spot. And so what happened was Biggie was working hard. We were supporting them, coming out there, checking them out, performing all that at the Palladium and all the different clubs around Hollywood, LA area. Suge was getting Club 662 off the ground. Pac was still in custody. The deal with Pac hadn't happened yet. Suge called Puff and said, hey, Puff, can you get Biggie to come and, I got this club I'm opening up and I want Biggie to come and perform at the club. Puff was so hot then, him and Big and them was so hot then, he probably was demanding this from other people. He said, you get the bar, I get the door. My people collect the money at the door. Suge was like, man, hey, I'm just trying to ask for a favor. I'll pay you a fee, take care of your rooms and stuff, but come on, man, we're supposed to be bigger than this. So that's your decision, you want the door? Suge said, I'm not giving you the door, And so, needless to say, it never happened. So they had a bad taste in Suge's mouth. But now, this is whatever fight that was in 95. And that fight might even got canceled, now that I think about it. But this was going to happen in like March or April of 95. And so now, the July coming around and Pac reaching out to Suge, July of 95, Pac reaching out to Suge. And Suge goes up there and Pac is up there in the prison in New York hearing all type of shit. And his mind's made up. Puff and them have something to do with this, or you the king of New York, right, Big? King of New York, you supposed to know what's going on if you the king. So find out, give me information is what going on in Pac head. And then niggas in prison talking, because everybody, y'all don't know if you ain't never been in jail before. Niggas in prisons know what's going down on the streets before, people on the streets before it starts circulating around there. And so Pac Um, so Pac telling Suge all of this. So Suge like, all right, I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you. So that's when the Source Awards incident come up. Suge put a poster of Pac in the cell. Paperwork hasn't been signed yet because this is August of '95. But attorneys are talking and stuff is moving. Sugar and Interscope and Atlantic and they all trying to figure it out. Make it all happen. But pretty much giving him nod that it's gonna happen. And so Suge makes that speech. Puff taken. We go to the tunnel that night. Puff come over to Suge like, Suge, why? I thought we was homies. We bigger than this. Why you dissing me? Suge's like, hey man, I don't know what he told him. Cause I'm looking at the niggas around with Puff and, look big. To be honest, Big Rock told me to step back because he's about ready to do what Rock do, bomb on somebody. He told me to step back, Reg, step back. So I step back. And so that happens. Okay, so that's August '95. So now, September or October. Pac's not home yet. Pac's not home, so it's either late September or mid-October. The incident at the Jermaine Dupri party happened. Big Jake get killed. Oh, Lord. Now, Suge's pissed. Kick Kurt Cobain dead in his ass and tell him to get out of the hospital because they up there proclaiming they had nothing to do with it. Suge knew who he got into it with at the Jermaine Dupri party. So he's definitely blaming Puff and them for it. So this is now Pac home, right? This is October the 12th. I misspoke and said October the 22nd. October the 22nd, 23rd was the day the Suge got violated. Damn, exactly 1 year later in 10 days. But October the 12th, Pac come home. Pac come home on a mission, right? So now, the end of November, guess what happens? Bad Boys, Biggie get on the radio because he mad about New York, New York. Pac took it as if he's tripping on the Dogg Pound because I'm over here now. I'm signed with y'all, so now y'all gonna be shooting up their trailers? Biggie, you gonna get them and excite, my new label mates to get their trailer shot up? Oh, it's really on. And so we know the history from there. And that's where it all really started at with Bad Boys and Death Row. And like I said, it got taken out of contest as an East Coast, West Coast war when it really was a Death Row and some people affiliate or associated on the East Coast, mainly with Bad Boys and Puff, that Pac had a problem with. But that's all it was. And plus the PDs, which industry people, executives, that's who we really blame for. And the Source magazine, they put it on the front cover of their thing, East Coast versus West. So the media hype as well. So there's a lot of people to blame for the East Coast, West Coast alleged beef. Yeah.
Okay, Johnny J later ended up suing Death Row Records. He claims that he co-wrote and helped produce 11 songs on All Eyes on Me. He was never paid a $100,000 advance, which he was promised, and he also stated that he was promised a per song royalty of 3% that he never received. Can you speak on the lawsuit with him or the allegations that he was making?
Yeah, I never reviewed the paperwork. I know I saw an interview with Johnny J. Who said he did 11 songs on Thug Life album. I don't remember Johnny J doing 11 songs on All Eyes on Me. Never said and went to it, but I'm sure he did, if that's what the lawsuit claimed. But I also just find it funny that he was upset about not being paid on 11 songs on Thug Life. And as he admitted in that interview, if any of y'all never saw it, he said, I had problems getting, or the record, I never really got paid because I had too many samples in the music. He talked about the issues with the samples. And that's what Johnny J issue is, y'all. He have too many samples in the songs. But okay, let me give y'all a game. So, oh yeah, but he was around there every day working. Well, you be around every day working because you're trying to get what? Placement is why you go where you trying to get on the album. The artist is the one to get paid. Now they give you, producers back in the day get anywhere from 2%, 2 points, which is 2%, 3 points, or 4 points was your high rate producers. But guess who percentage you get that off of? I'll wait. From the artist percentage. Everything comes out of the artist percentage, not the record label. And like I told y'all before, the artist only gets paid for 10 or 12 songs. I don't know, I don't remember when they would get released. So those could have been some of the songs probably wasn't even on or that the artist is getting paid for. So why would the artist pay you for songs that wasn't on there? You're throwing money away when they give you anything over 10 tracks or 12 tracks. But yet that's too deep for most of y'all. So I'm not even gonna go into that. Y'all go ask our artists and they'll tell y'all about that part of the game. But that's what's happening with that. You don't get no publishing if you didn't get the samples cleared in advance. Because if you put something out and then come to me later and say, oh, well, can I only give you this? No, I want 100% because you shouldn't have put it out. I should be pulling your stuff off the shelves, sending a cease and desist for using my copyright without my permission. It's how some artists, that's how Prince used to do it back in the day. That's why y'all notice a lot of people don't even take a chance using Prince music because his wife, when she wanted him to be in the children's stories and all that stuff, she would not let any of that music get done once he got control over it. And then he was arguing with Warner Brothers, so you definitely couldn't sample no Michael Jackson and Prince samples back in the day. It was hard to do. But I'm getting a little bit too deep for y'all. But yeah, Death Row ain't cut Johnny J a check yet from no lawsuit. So that was the estate. Once they got paid from Death Row and Interscope, they got their money. They had to go and settle up and pay out and make it right with Johnny J. Ask y'all groupie about that.
Can you talk to me a little bit about after Tupac passed away? I believe everybody went to the Bahamas, and then you came back because Suge was set to turn himself in for something, not the violation with the videotape and all that, to your knowledge at that point, but that's what ended up happening. But can you tell me a little bit about number one, going to the Bahamas after Tupac had passed, and then the reasoning for coming back and what ended up happening through the court procedures for Suge?
All right, so this is what happened, y'all. So immediately after everything was going down, now Death Row is hot. Shootings going on in Compton. White folks in Tarzana is going crazy and mad and doing, what you call it, community blocks. They doing abatements and stuff. So they're trying to get an abatement and get us out of Hammer, and they all got pulled over, leaving the studio. And they were telling people from the studio. So Can-Am was hot. This is burnt. Law enforcement is on it. And they did what? Somebody called in something like a fight or something, which I think was the police line to get in the back of. We was out of town. We was in Florida, and we had a big party with a bunch of strippers and stuff at the house, and we was giving it off with all the street team. Sugar gave a big party for all the street team members and stuff, and he was, we had a big party in a house in Miami, nice beach house. And so Um, and so the police came, raided Can-Am. Those niggas back then, once the police come or something to take over it, they believe in cameras and all of that, and recordings and all that. So Can-Am was burnt. We're done. We're out of Can-Am. Nobody going to Can-Am anymore. So had my security and everything, clean up Can-Am, get everybody out of Can-Am. So Suge is like, hey, it's too hot out here. Police following us around everywhere. Houses getting raided. We're going to the Bahamas. This guy named Chris Blackwell, who I told y'all about before, that owned Island Records. He had this recording studio out in the Bahamas called Compass Point, in this area called Compass Point. And he had a nice studio out there. And so they sent us out there to try to, because we had like 4 albums that needed to be turned in the fourth quarter. I think it was the Christmas album, Death Row Greatest Hits, Machiavelli, and the Dogg Father. Yeah. So Suge went out there and took us out there to finish up all those different albums. Oh, and some soundtracks. It was either gang related or gridlock. So he's on a mission now to get all of these particular albums finished, and needed somewhere where he can focus and concentrate. Didn't have to be worrying about all the street stuff that was going on, and didn't have to be worrying about law enforcement. And so we went out there, kicked it, and was out there. And now David Kenner calling us about they trying to violate, Suge got to come home, because they trying to violate him for a dirty marijuana test. Everybody knows Suge was on Cuban cigars then. Cuban cigars get you just as high as a marijuana joint, I'm told. Only smoked a Cuban cigar once or twice in my life. Never hit a marijuana joint before in my life. And so I'm told that though, and so now we got to go back in. We think it was secondhand smoke if it's true, if they wasn't lying, because Suge of course was sitting in studios, and all of that marijuana was getting in the system because that's all they do in the studio. And this is prior to us going to the Bahamas, but they saying one of his urine samples came back dirty. Okay. So we go back. This Suge and I, we left everybody out there. Everybody's still working, make it happen, do what y'all supposed to be doing. Because Suge is mainly in studio, just approve and make sure everybody's there. We had Roger Chapman out there. Everybody. He flew Damon Thomas, bitch ass. He flew him out there. He was the producer that last did work on Pac's album. He was new to the team. He was just flying people out there. So everybody was out there, putting them in hotels, renting houses and everything, putting them in houses in the Bahamas. So we fly home, me and Suge fly home. And now, the next day, they pull him in. Judge saying we're going to have a probation violation hearing and you have no bail. Brought him back in. So, now, David Kenner and they're talking to him on the phone. And he's like, hey. And he was pissed, furious. You think they're going to bring up that part about the Vegas thing? Suge dropped the phone. He said, and this is what Suge told me, I wasn't there. Looked at him and like, you motherfucker. The next day, in court, guess what happened? Oh, well, we found out the dirty test ain't a big issue or nothing. But we found out about this incident that happened in Vegas. And we checking into that. And this is why your probation is being violated now. We're going to have a probation hearing regarding this. Suge always, to this day, believed, and that's why he did David Kenner so cold after that. He cut his checks off and everything. Said, you don't get paid, you don't get no money till I come home. And the reason why he did this to David was because he felt David was trying to get him in trouble where he had to need him again because he was telling all his artists and everybody, David, we're only going to use him now as a criminal attorney. We ain't messing with him no more on the entertainment side. That's where the letter comes in where David Kenner was supposedly fired by Pac and all of that. Yeah, he was. As an entertainment attorney. Because there was a big conflict. But never as a criminal attorney. You don't fire nobody that's over your appeal bond and you're trying to get out and you go up and fire him. You don't do that. That's dumb business. But Suge was getting rid of him as the entertainment attorney. And also things like he was the one that approved the checks. His office, Tina and them, they approved the checks. They the one to call. They were the ones that dealt with Gail Fan. But now Suge brought his brother-in-law, Norris Anderson, in, and because we had somebody named Kim Brown and Roy who was like his receptionist and made stuff happen. The ones that called everybody, set up stuff. But then he got rid of Kim. Kim went and started working for Terry Carter at Heavyweight Records in Ice Cube. Kim, good girl, Kim Brown. Well, I'd love to get her. Matter of fact, her and Sharita's still tight. Might have to reach out to her for an interview. Kim is, yeah, that's somebody I just thought about. But anyway, she ended up starting working for Kevin Black too. For those of y'all that know her from the Lil Jon days and all that at Warner Brothers Music when Kevin Black was running that. She was his assistant. But anyway, that's when he brought in Norris and this guy named Calvin Tubbs, who was a USC graduate, one of the homies that grew up in the neighborhood, brother Kenny Tubbs, that y'all hear the dudes from the mob speak highly of. And that was his oldest brother that graduated from USC and all of that, who was married, or the brother-in-law to Suge's sister, because they had married the same brothers, some Tubbs. And Desi and Calvin were brothers, and Kenny, those were all three brothers. And so he brought them in. That's when y'all hear him talking about the family. He brought the family in to run the company and all of that. And oh yeah, the groupie spoke on that. Yeah, Mars did run the company. He did. For 3 months, groupie. And everybody know he was the general manager and all of that. And he was let go, I'll say that, or reassigned to home duty in July when Reggie took over. But Reggie was still around Norris months before that, helping running the company. But yeah, false information about Groupie again. But anyway, my point being was that's what happened to Suge, and we all know about the violation and the hearing and all of that.
Okay. So when Norris is running the label, number one, how do you get approached to take over his position? And what was the reaction to some of the people that were running it, that were the higher ups, before you were put in that role?
Okay. Well, prior to me, and we got to remember this is a short time. Well, Suge went into custody October 22nd of '96. He didn't get violated until March the 1st or February 28th, one of those days. Whatever day that shooting happened in, because I remember that took all the headlines. I remember those cops was mad. The shooting and the bank robbers, when those guys in the valley, when they dressed up and was suited up and was walking and shooting up all those cops with those assault weapons. That particular day was the same day that Suge got violated for his probation. And from that time until, like I said, June, July, the people that was in charge was Norris. David Kenner was the one running back and forth because he was the one going into prison to see Suge, and Michelet. And an attorney named Paul Marshall was trying to make a deal to get some stuff done that was involved as well from New York. And so they were all the ones involved. And Suge's locked down now after he got violated. Don't think we were able to see him anymore. I went and visited him once or twice, a regular visit. But all that attorney visits and all that stuff, nobody was able to see him anymore. I don't think he went to Delano first, State Pen. That's like the reception center. He probably went there sometime in May, in April, May. And then he was there for a few weeks. Then he went to Mule Creek, CMC. And this is like June, July. And then that's when I get a letter in the mail from him. Like, Reg, what's up, man? Where you been? I ain't been hearing nothing around about you. What you doing, man? I hear you moving on and that left me hanging. Like, what? So I write him back. Hey, nigga, what you talking about? Man, I've been working with Miss Chalet, driving Miss Chalet around every day. Matter of fact, I don't want to took her to the to get her the marriage certificate for you. I don't want to drove her down there to the hall. What are you talking about? He's like, man, they telling me like you left me hanging. He said, I know what's going on. He said, Reg, fill out this visiting form and come see me. This was sometime in June, July. June, maybe May, June or July. Go down there. And he said, man, these motherfuckers have been hating on you, Reg. This is what we're going to do now. I'm getting rid of all these motherfuckers. Me and you about to take over and run this shit. And we ran it from then on. All Michelet's decision making was put a stamp on the check that Reg bring you. I'm sure he told her to run them by her, and say, okay, Reg's gonna check for this. If it was a check made out to Reggie Wright for $100,000, I bet she was like, what the fuck are you paying Reggie $100,000 for? That's all he probably was worried about. But yeah, that's how that went.
Okay. Can you speak a little bit about Nate Dogg's situation? Because I know his album was getting ready to come out on Death Row. I think there was a single, Never Leave Me Alone, with a video. And then there were even advertisements for the album, the full album, to come out. To this day, if you go on eBay or any of these, kind of online stores, you can find the Nate Dogg album pressed up, sealed up with the Death Row logo and all that stuff. Can you speak on what happened with his album, and then what happened with him leaving Death Row and why he left?
So yeah, what happened with Nate Dogg was Nate Dogg's somebody. I always say this, and then y'all say I diss him. But since Nate Dogg is somebody I really like. Me and him we done had gunplay with niggas together. One of my security guards and him went to bat. they went with golf clubs and everything. And then they was whooping on those my boy Drayster and BG Knockout and them at a video shoot. I think it was Warren G. Wasn't no Def Jam. Might have been Montel Jordan video shoots. And so Nate Dogg was always cool, but Nate Dogg was a rider. I always give Big C Style and Trey D credit for being riders among that crew. And later a dude named Fabia. And Lil C Style, forget about him, and Swoop G. But my boy Nate Dogg was a rider. He was with it. And so Nate Dogg, I think, just got tired of all the drama and all that, because we did the Never Leave Me Alone video shoot. I remember we did that at the Transit Center in LA. I was at that video shoot, kind of controlled that video shoot. Never Leave Me Alone. And we were marketing and doing it. It was a double CD. And eventually, well, we didn't put it out as a double. But Nate Dogg eventually had this dude named David Mystery from Breakaway Records. Y'all heard of Breakaway Records? He was making a little noise, because he was paying everybody. He ended up eventually working for me, still my friend to this day. But David Mystery, matter of fact, he's the one I went and started working for after I left Death Row, and helped me put out. It was his company that put out the Relative CD that I did. Guess what that album was called? Snoop Dogg Presents The Relatives. Oh my God, they hated that name too. But anyway, um, uh, but so Nate Dogg went, and this dude David Mystery wanted him bad, and he was over there messing with David Mystery, and so I was like, all right, David, we're selling to you for $500,000, and with the packaging and everything, because we ain't fucking with that nigga no more, and we ain't putting it out. And he's like, well, I already got an album on him, but I'll make it a double. Y'all go look on the Breakaway Nate Dogg, and y'all see that Nate Dogg came out with a double CD on Breakaway Records. And that was the reason and that it was a double. Shouldn't have been a double. He should have just made it a single with all the hits, but you know how artists fall in love with the music, and they couldn't decide which ones from the Death Row days he wanted to take off the album and which ones of his new recordings he wanted to take off. And so they just made it a double. But we got an override on that album. And I know $500,000. And Nate Dogg signed off to being caught up on any monies or anything that was owed to him. So it was all cool with Nate Dogg. But that's the deal and the issue with Nate Dogg. Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the Tupac's Greatest Hits album and Suge's initial reactions to possibly putting that album out?
Man, that was the first time I met Doug Morris in LA at Universal. And Doug Morris came out of a meeting because Jimmy said, Reggie, I need you to come up here and talk to Doug and Doug Morris. And so I knew who Doug Morris was, but you know, I didn't met nobody that high up. He ran all the Universal Music Group, for those of y'all don't know who he was or he is. And so Doug Morris came and said, Reggie, would you please beg Suge? I need this album. I need this album for the fourth quarter. We need the numbers. Would you please? I'm hearing you don't even want to listen to you. Put out this, get him to agree to put this album out. Because Suge was like, no. Because the Reels was up there telling him, man, they took lyrics off another album and made changes, and changes is whack. And I'm like, no. Changes is not whack. That's a hit. That's going to drive this album. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. Reel's like, man, that's Suge, that's Reed. They took verses off and this. And I'm like, I don't know. It's a hit. Suge was like, Reggie, man, forget them. They don't want to do nothing but Tupac stuff, this. She said, Suge, we need the money. It's going to sell. I don't need this right now, Suge. I don't need this headache, man. And Suge was like, I ain't doing it. It ain't coming out. They ain't doing it. I said, all right, Suge. So I left with my head tucked between my ass. And so the next day I called Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, you need to come up here, man. You're the only one who can make this happen. I said, better yet, no. Steve Berman, who's now the president of Interscope Gap and A&M, but at the time he was just over marketing and promotion. I said, let's sing Gangsta Steve. Y'all seen him in the videos because Suge loves Steve Berman, Gangsta Steve. He had him in the Eazy-E video. Y'all hear about him talking about Violet Brown and what was the white boy name, that rapper that Interscope had for a minute? That was good. Damn. Well, anyway, they had a good Bubba Sparks. Had him in that video and Eminem video and all of that. Steve Berman. But anyway, we call him Gangster Steve is what we call him. And Gangster Steve came up there. I remember Suge and Mr. Lay sitting at the table when I was walking in with him. He started clapping like, look at him. They bringing in the big dog. They bringing in the closer. He said, I told you, Mr. Lay, I know how to get them to come up here and see a nigga. And he was up there just laughing. He's like, Steve, you know I don't do the album. I just wanted to see who they going to send up here to come up here and talk me into doing it. And me and Gangsta Steve just laughed and shit. We kicked Wayne back, and this is what we did, y'all. We gave 10 songs from the Death Row days, All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli, 2 new songs from our days. I forget what they were. And then they did 10 songs from the Interscope days, and then 2 songs that they contribute to the album for a total of 24 songs is what we put out. So it must be 12 songs you get paid for. That's why it's 12 on a track and not 10. And we put those albums out, and y'all know what the Greatest Hits did. I think it's up to a diamond, if not more now. So yeah. Not saying that Suge probably wouldn't have eventually broke down, but that was a stressful week to make it happen. And that was just because of my persistence. Because I could have easily just been a hater and be like, Jimmy, it ain't going to happen. But it happened. It did well.
So on December 11th, 1997, 4 Tupac catalog DATs were made, and they were later placed in the Pacific Title Archive. The reason I bring these up is 2 of the DATs, they were labeled DAT number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. DAT number 1 and number 2 ended up being the exact songs that came out on the Tupac bootlegs in 1998. So I wanted to get your thoughts on, or if you knew anything about these DATs and why they were created, and then I want to get your reaction to when the bootlegs started coming out. What was the reaction of the label? What was the reaction to Suge? And, that whole situation.
Yeah, so the bootlegs, the Machiavelli bootlegs, those was done because we were showing the estate what we had during the lawsuit. When the attorneys talking, when they were talking about doing the settlement. And so they had me go and get a list of, and give the samples and the songs to all of the music that, that was in the archives, because that was going to be a part of the settlement. All right, these are y'all songs. Y'all can release these songs, or y'all can't release these songs, or whatever. Everybody just want to know what you're arguing, what you're fighting over. And so we created those DATs. So in the agreement, the final of the agreement, this is how they come out, and I'll summarize it right quick. We agreed to turn over all the music to Interscope. The state agreed on that side, and we agreed, I'm talking about the reels, everything, to Interscope. That were Tupac. This is the word that Suge always played, and this was Suge was smart at. He said, you turn over the ones that are Tupac albums or songs to the estate. And so he said, you turn those over to Edie. So the estate said, okay, well, we're going to have Edie and the Outlaws go in there, and then y'all can bring whoever from your side, which it was Butch Small, me, I was coordinating it, and somebody else. And I had a security guard there 24 hours with that music. And so we would skip Sailors. It was this recording studio, one that's DJ Quick hometown. It was on Beverly Glen, down there in, it's called Skip Sailors. And so that's where we rented out. And we took all the music and had them shipped from the archives. And they were going to be turned over to Interscope archives. Not sure if that's the one that caught on fire or not. Don't believe so. And I'll tell y'all why I don't believe with that rumor where it said all Tupac masters lost in the fire and all that. Because we did all of that. And so Edie and all of them agreed, and it was like, and this is where I'm mad at myself to this day. All of the track listings, Tupac had wrote out and put inside each box with his lyrics wrote out. And I had all that. Show y'all, I wasn't knowing nothing. I wasn't no thief or nothing. But if I would have known what that shit's worth today, I would have never gave that up. Because Edie was like, Reggie, he said, this Pac's mom stuff, ain't it? Pac should be able to have this. And I was like, yeah, take it, Edie. You can have it. And I gave all those track listings to Edie. And we gave all the songs. Now, when I take Suge's credit, and this was Suge, might have got mad at me, I don't know, I don't remember. He was like, well, why you turn over that song with OFTB? Well, I turned over all songs with Pac on it. That wasn't a Pac song. That was OFTB song. And they and Pac was old Damon, he featured on that. Why you turn over that song with, whatever artist? That was their song. Pac was paying them back, for being on his song. Which y'all don't know, that's really how the game go. You don't get paid for being a fee for being on somebody's album, especially your label mate. You usually just do switch-offs. You be on mine, I'll be on yours. You help my album, I help your album. That's how they usually go. What you do get is your mechanical writings, the writings, your royalties, but not a fee for being on there. You may charge some outside labels or some outside producers an advancement on there. If you go bring somebody today like a Timberland or Cali or somebody that in, they probably say, yeah, it cost me $100,000 just to walk in the studio. Plus I don't get 3 points and this and that. But, back then, Dre would demand and stuff like that. Das wasn't, DJ Quick and them wasn't. You were just a staff producer. You wanted to get a placement on the album. But anyway, so that's how those DATs got created. How they got leaked, I don't even blame it on the estate. Well, I ain't get to the estate part. I don't even blame it on somebody that worked at Interscope or Interscope or I blame it on Pacific Archive. Somebody that worked at Pacific Archives, I believe, somehow got it and leaked the Machiavellis is what I believe. Now, later, once they started getting released, I go and ask Interscope, man, how's all this shit getting on the streets? What's going on with this? How they like, and that's when they told me, well, Reggie, we gave it to the estate. Tom Wally asked, because, Afeni was close. He never liked Suge or Death Row. And so, what you mean, Jimmy? Y'all gave it, that ain't what the agreement said. The agreement is supposed to be, y'all hold it, y'all like the escrow for us, and we get permission, they get permission, then we can touch it. And it's like, Reggie, we dropped the ball. It got released to the state. And so the music, the master recordings was all, the 24-inch reels and everything, wherever they elected to put it, it's under the estate control. How the Machiavelli records and bootlegs came out to this day, I don't know. I can only blame or put blame on people. But yeah, that's why the DATs were made, to answer your question.
All right. Can we talk a little bit about the Dr. Dre 2001 album? So, Death Row did Chronic 2000. Dr. Dre did, I think it's just 2001. I know people call it Chronic 2001, but I think the title is just 2001. Can you speak about, the back and forth over the album title name and what came out of that?
Yeah. But that was us being our childish butts that we were back then. So we had got word that Dre about to put out this album called Chronic 2000. And M had just blew up, and he had just did it with M, and we was like, damn, Dre's back. And so we had some studio garbage of Dre's in the studio that nobody, quite frankly, wanted to work with. I remember that's why I ended up sending Doobie home, because he pissed me off. Because it was a song called Hole Hopper or something like that I was trying to get Doobie to re-rap and take Dre verses and do it, and he was like, I don't like it. I was like, nigga, take your bitch ass home. But that was Doobie. But he wouldn't get on Hole Hopper. So we had stuff like that nobody really liked, but if y'all look at the artwork, we had it made just like the old Chronic and was using that, and Brian Turner was like, Reggie, we can't do that. Not knowing, see, Brian got a lifetime distribution on Priority. I'm on Dr. Dre. If y'all notice anything that comes out with Dre on it, look on the back of it. That shit's not distributed by whoever Jimmy got to deal with. That's not distributed by Universal. That's not distributed by anything that's Dr. Dre from Chronic 2001 and anything like that is distributed by Priority. Y'all look it up. Y'all learn something. That's a little game y'all didn't know. But anyway, Priority Capital now. But anyway, so it was a major issues about that and the name Chronic 2000. And so there go Jimmy. Reggie, what y'all doing y'all own ways, you know. I know, Jimmy. Okay, come and talk to Suge, Jimmy. You know how to go. So Jimmy come up. It was on a Saturday, because I remember the next day was a Sunday. Jimmy comes up to the prison and meet with Suge. It was either Friday or Saturday, one of the two, but I was there. And Jimmy was like, come on, Suge. So Jimmy was like, all right, Suge, if you drop that Chronic 2000 and you let us use the name Chronic 2000, I'll give you $500,000 and 5% or 7% override. That little mouse sitting right next to him. No, Suge, no. You do that, you're going to blow him up. Bitch, what are you talking about going to blow him up? He's already blown up. Did you see here? Eminem, Dre's back. What are you talking about? Suge, why is you letting her, man, I'm telling you, Suge, he going to blow up. He going. I'm like, Suge, come on, man. They giving us $500,000 and an override. And so Jimmy was like, so what'd he say? So he said, no, no, but Tammy's coming tomorrow. We'll talk to her and we'll get it. I'll make it happen. Just give me another day. Because I know last person in Suge ear, you get what you want. So now I'm telling her. So we go up there and he's like, okay, all right, Reg. Tell him I want a 5% raise, $500,000. Better be in my account by tomorrow, a Monday or Tuesday, they better do it, and I'll drop it. All right, thanks, Suge. Cool, Suge. Call Jimmy. Jimmy, hey, guess what? He's like, oh, Reggie, I talked to Dre. Y'all can have the name Chronic 2000. We here came up with another name. And for those of y'all said, Reggie lying, he don't know what he's talking about. Okay. 2001, his album debut that came out November of 1999, y'all. Okay? So all you motherfucking Googles that don't know it, Reggie lied. Why would an album come out in 99 and they thinking about 2001? I just said, damn. We just lost a 5% override and $500,000 because of that. Anyway, next. Damon Thomas, assassin. Y'all know that was the last person that actually did recordings with Tupac. He actually the last person that he did the fight song that Mike Tyson and them came out to that week as well. Matter of fact, you know the songs that he did offhand, John?
Yeah, he did Hell for a Hustler and All Out, and then that same night they did that Tupac song, Let's Get It On.
All right. Damon Thomas, y'all know him. A lot of you young kids know him. Well, we got to know him. Well, I'll tell y'all first how y'all know him. That was the guy that was first married to Kim Kardashian. That was Kim Kardashian's first husband. But Damon Thomas is a bitch-ass nigga. And I'm going to explain that comment. Damon, he's the one that y'all heard that flipped over the Viper on the way to Vegas with Tupac. But the reason why I call him a bitch-ass nigga, well, he's the one that also, him and Dre had some type of dealings or something. I think he sued Dre for slapping him or something, Dr. Dre. So you know he's a bitch-ass nigga if Dr. Dre slapped him. But he used to work with Ray Parker Jr., had a publishing deal with him. He's the type of nigga that goes around, he's a hell of a producer. He the one that did all the replay on the Straight Outta Compton album. He did he was under Underdog Records, Underdog Productions. He did. So he does a lot of music in the industry. He the one that also got the BMF guys indicted. He snitched on them. Y'all can do that research, because they can't stand him. But Damon, he, this a bitch ass nigga. Matter of fact, he's the nigga that went and Dogg is the rest in peace Dogg, and some Muslim dudes and some other guys allegedly took him to his house and robbed him. Took him to the bank that made him give up some money and all of that. Come back running to us. I'll tell y'all that story in a minute. Damon. I remember he brought Kim Kardashian. That's when only time I really met Kim Kardashian. She came up to the prison and rode in the car with us because he was messing with Kim at the time. And they went to the prison and came up to the prison. And rolled up in the car with us. She was very pretty then, very attractive lady. But she was cool, laid back, and they were riding and went up to the prison to visit. I remember Shalay was so jealous about her because she knew Kim was a gold digger. She was like, why she want to be with that bitch? I mean, Damon, she's trying to get to you, Suge. I don't trust her. Reggie, don't you ever bring her inside this prison? I was like, she ain't trying. That's Damon woman, you know. I remember her saying, "Now that woman's a snake. She ain't no good. She a gold digger." And I was like, whatever. But this is before Kim had blew up. I don't even think she was hanging with Parrish yet. And so, yeah, that's Kim Kardashian. But anyway, so Damon is the guy that went to court and testified on Dogg. Tried to get him struck out, and came running to us for protection. I ended up putting some security on him. But this is why I really can't stand that nigga. So he's the guy that I told y'all about where him and Babyface did a song on Danny Boy on the Gridlock album. I think it was Gridlock. And to be honest, his song, people were feeling better than Babyface. And Kenny was like, damn. Babyface was like, man, who's this producer? So he went over there, yeah, I'm not signed to Death Row. I ain't this, I ain't that. And went and tricked Kenny and started working with Babyface. And so I'm like, wait a minute, Kenny. How you messing with Baby? Like, he told us he don't have no deal with y'all. He not signed to y'all. Like, Babyface, that ain't true. But we'll deal with him. But, you know, y'all can keep him. Well, you know, he owes some money and we're going to deal with him. Kenny was like, yeah, whatever, Red. So this happened while Suge was in jail. And so now Suge came home. And this was, I'm back hanging around County, like 2005 or 6. And back and forth, Damon was doing stuff. We was making him do stuff. He was the producer I always tell y'all about that I made do stuff. 99, Myron. It's like, nigga, you gonna work. You gonna give us 10 songs and you gonna produce these songs and you ain't getting none of the money on it. Okay, Reggie, okay. Y'all just stop messing up my deals. Y'all stop this. But he was always getting into trouble in LA and was always calling us for help. Remember, I had to send Gotti up there one time to help him with this dude Stutterbox. Had him at the Clipper game. Had him up there scared to come out the game. Gotti had to go up there and get him and escort him out the thing. And him and Gotti still have a great relationship to this day. But Damon just a snake nigga. He's the one that brought the guys up to the studio and got me a judgment. Well, we had to put hands on him and take the guns from them and stuff. That Big Cass wanted to be until he saw that police report and saw the real of what really happened. And he was like, oh, no, that ain't me. that ain't me. That's Damon Thomas. He, yeah, he cried on my shoulder when he found out Ray J was messing with Kim. Then Ray J cried on my shoulders when he found out Nick Cannon was fucking Kim. And they all was crying over that Kim boy. That Kim must be a bad chick. Because now we see Kanye crying over. So, man. But anyway, um, but Damon, like I said, snitched on the BMF dudes, tried to get Dogg put in prison. Uh, just a bitch ass nigga. But yeah, he was the last one to record with Tupac. I think like the last 2 or 3 songs. And that's Damon Thomas, the assassin, bitch ass nigga in my mind. Yeah.
All right. Can you give me a detailed rundown of the day that the FBI raided the death row offices when you were there?
Yeah. Well, death row officers got raided twice. So the time you're talking about when they raided my house, they raided Michelet's grandmother's house, and they raided death row office. So what happened on that? That's when Russell Poole, was believing that death row had something to do with the murder of Biggie Small, and so Suge had an Impala, which everybody in L.A. or street dudes in ghetto areas had a 95, 96 Chevy Impala. That was the car to have, right? Suge had one. His was a burnt out cherry. Suge never had the regular stuff that everybody had. He always had to go the extra mile with it. Had some nice rims on it and had it like a cherried out burgundy or something like that. But black cherry. It had a black cherry look with a pearl. But we was trying to get it registered because I was taking all the cars out, taking them out of the death row name and putting them in here because you got to remember the feds are coming. And so we was worried about all that, trying to, not get stuff they'll seize from death row and put them in people that he trusted names. So this particular car was getting put in Michelet's name. So that's why they went to her grandmother's house because that was the address she was using on the car. And so I was trying to get it registered and they was like, well, we need to inspect the car. And we need to see the car. And so that's when y'all see the car while they raiding the building. Y'all see the car on the news footage with the truck, the Chevy Impala on the back of the car on the pickup because I went and got it from the storage. And had it towed because I didn't drive none of the cars. I just had them towed. And they towed it to the office. And at that time, they raided the office and went looking for stuff and raided the office, had everybody, surrounded, scared anybody. Didn't find nothing, just tore up stuff. Just tried to, prove their case for whatever reason, but their reasoning for the search warrant was because Suge had an Impala. That's all that they had a link to on which, like I tell you, who plans a murder? A professional hit, as y'all say, not no game random hit in their own car. But that's the type of investigator Russell Poole was. So yeah.
In about 2002, 2003, Daz posted online that he had won a $25 million judgment and gotten all of his publishing back from Death Row. I don't know if you were still there at the time or if you caught up about this later, but do you remember that? And if so, can you talk about that?
That's true. One of the true things that Daz said. It wasn't a judgment. Well, it was a default judgment, so I guess it is a judgment. He got a default judgment at that time, Suge, as he did with Harry O and everybody. This fella didn't have to go to court. Fella didn't have to defend anything. Had this crackpot Sherry, I forget her last name, working for him, old cracked out, smoked out looking white chick. That was a joke. Had her working for him as attorney. And she ended up fucking Timmy Rue, so you know how much of a Matter of fact, she's the one that got caught in the prison in the attorney room having sex with with Suge's cellmate. He had her go have sex. He made her go and come up there and have sex with her in the cell. Sherry got caught. She got banned and got caught having sex with him in the attorney room. But anyway, Sherry. Um, but anyway, she thought she knew what she was doing, didn't know what she was doing. Her and Lamont Gibbons. You ever see those two attorney names? Run. But Suge liked them because Suge loved playing attorney. And so they would let him practice law using his name. And as I told y'all, Suge's a marketing genius. That's it. That's all. Anything else when it comes to smarts, my brother ain't that good with. But that nigga know how to dress, make women look good, make stuff look good. Marketing, he can make you look good. He's a genius at that. One of the best that I done seen, to be honest. But yeah, but he was playing attorney, and it cost him. But anyway, Jazz got a default judgment because nobody dealt with it. I wasn't there. I was gone. I was at American Music doing my thing there. But all they had to do was show my agreement with Daz, where I bought him out for $75,000 back in like 99, 98, and bought all his rights, gave him $75,000. And he always wondered, why I don't give him my check? Why I don't give him, yeah. Y'all gonna learn one day why nobody getting their publishing checks and stuff. Because they forget they did all these buyouts. But he was bought out, and that's all they had to show, and they wouldn't have got that judgment. But Daz didn't get no money. Y'all can look at the house that nigga living in Atlanta and see, he ain't got no 25. You got $25 million back in the day. You don't live like that, bro. That ain't how you live when you touch $25 million at one time. But Daz didn't get no money. That got dismissed in the bankruptcy. That was one of the claims that got dismissed. Just like Ariel claim got dismissed. Only ones that made money off of the death row judgment was the receiver, the attorneys, and E1 Entertainment. Sharitha got a little because she had some claims for her divorce settlement, but she's not happy, I'm sure, because she got claims still to this day because you don't dismiss child support payments and stuff like that. That's owed to her. But, she passed it. She got a husband that's doing very well for her now. And she living good, living nice. Husband building $1 million home, so they good. And, yeah. But other than that, nobody else made no money off of death row bankruptcy. But that's how the game go, I guess.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about Suge's cousin, Michelle? I know her and Jewel are doing an interview right now with Art of Dialogue. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it. I assume you heard some of it, maybe. But can you give me your thoughts on her and your interactions with her?
Yeah. Relative to who she says she is, y'all. A comedian. Funny. I told y'all before, y'all acting like all this stuff y'all never heard before. What did I call her? I always called her Suge Lightweight Pimp. Don't y'all remember me saying that? That was Suge Lightweight Pimp. But she got a lot of females for sure. Introduced them to a lot. She's who she says she is. Very respected with guys in the community, in Compton and LA, and the way she's telling it all over. I remember, I knew Michelle. I saw her performing prior to going to work for Death Row. Because I told y'all before, I used to work and lightweight run this little comedy club inside the Ramada Hotel in Compton, where AJ, TK Kirkland, Jamie Foxx, Lachelle, this girl named Wanda White that's out there, all of them came through. This dude named Craig, I think his name was Craig, that used to run it, the club, and he used to get great acts in. I mean, on Monday nights at the Indio Club in Compton, all the LA and Compton was there. Well, not LA so much, Watts, the LA area, was at the Compton Ramada Hotel. And yeah, that was the spot to be in on a Monday night. And she was there. She was one of the comedians used to roll in with an entourage. Always had about 10 females with her wherever she went. And LaShaw was cool. Cool, cool, cool. Um, yeah, I can't think of nothing bad to say about LaShaw. I call her relative. And then Jewel, y'all know, Jewel's a talent. I've been looking at a lot of pictures. I give her a bad rap on her weight. Everything I've been seeing on Jewel, her body wasn't that bad. I don't know why. She used to get the fat jokes from us back in the day. Um, I mean, Jewel is who she is. I mean, she would, you know, she was what she says she is, what she admits to. That was Jewel. But a talent, a talent. Just couldn't control that temper. If she would have somebody that she respected to calm her down, and probably wasn't as tight with the homegirls as she was and stayed to herself, I really believe she would have been that star that she should have been.
All right, so last interview we talked a bit about some of the Death Row Pyru guys that were around. There were a couple that we left out, not intentionally, but people in the comments brought them up. So I was going to bring up these names that we didn't touch on before, and get your memories or stories about these people if you're cool with that.
Wait a minute. Okay, cool.
So for the first one, can we touch on Big Jake?
Big Jake, solid brother. I didn't grow up in the sandbox with Big Jake. I didn't actually meet Big Jake until we grew up, until I came around Death Row in '94. He was already there. Uh, Big Jake, he was from Campanella Park, Pyrus, which is a gang on the west side of Compton, the farthest side of Compton, mainly in the county area, so I didn't know much about him even when I was a police officer. Big Jake was the type of dude that was a homie, had the little gangster in him, but he was also business mind. He would have been the one that Suge, I believe, would have chose to been in charge, not with the money and the bills and all of that, but as far as the studio and getting the artists together and the promotion teams and all that, he would have been very, very instrumental on running Death Row when Suge went to prison, other than me, if he hadn't been killed. For those of y'all don't know, I know most of y'all know Jake. Jake Robles is his name. Big Jake is the gentleman that was killed with Suge at the Jermaine Dupri party. They're one of the reasons that Suge had such venom towards Bad Boys Records. So yeah, that's Big Jake.
Okay, can you speak on Timmy Rue?
You know what? I want to go back to Big Jake too. I want to also add that Big Jake also was managing DJ Quick, Lightweight, and the group Second to None. Is what Big Jake also was known for. Okay.
Okay, can you speak on Timmy Rue?
Timmy Rue. Timmy Rue is Buntry's little brother. Some say he's deeply still involved over there in the mob area. Nobody want to be categorized as a gang member anymore, so I won't put that on him. Timmy Rue is, I'm not as close with Timmy as I am with James and was with Buntry, but I talk to that nigga at least once a month, and he's somebody, if I called him right now, would come over and visit you if I asked him to, or would do whatever for me if I talk to him. And he got some interviews out there where he exaggerated a little bit. That's why he won't come on Bomb first, because he know I won't call him on him talking about Tupac Bomb, gave him reels and all of that. Timmy Rue might got some reels over there, but his mama ain't gave them to him. But who am I to second guess him on that? But Timmy a good dude. Timmy just funny. Timmy one of those got a bunch of different kids by a bunch of different women, and just a life of a party. He's a baby. He's a baby of five other brothers and sisters. Well, there's five of them, so four other, two sisters and two brothers. So he's a baby boy. But Timmy ain't no joke. Hope me and Timmy never get on the wrong side of each other, cause Timmy ain't no joke. But yeah, Buntry little brother, still in my mind, in the middle of shit out there in the Mahaparu area. But I don't know that. Yeah.
All right. What about K Dub?
Oh, K-Dub. 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 Kevin Woods. Kevin Woods was one of the originals around, other than James and Biggie and all of them. K-Dub was Suge boy back in the day. They were together all the time. They didn't grow up that far away from each other. Kevin was always around, but Kevin was independent. Niggas about to get mad at me, but Kevin was the type of dude that always knew how to make his own money. So he didn't have to be around to take the bullshit, you know? Because Kevin always had a bag, so, or always knew how to make money. So he's not, he wasn't a follower like that, you know? And why he broke away and got away, I don't know. When the nigga was younger, Kevin was very active. What I mean by that, he would go on missions with dudes. He was with it. Kevin is a much calmer and nicer dude. When I say that, I think he grew up. All Kevin do now is smoke his weed. He promoting the hell out of Death Row. So he got a great relationship probably with John Payne because he was around when John Payne was there. And so I have nothing bad to say about K-Dub. Even though he's real tight with Snoop and them, he's up under them and be promoting the hell out of that. But Kevin is the reason why he can be that way because Kevin's not with that game banger stuff anymore. He's about making money. He know where he's from, and he gonna always be from there. But he know how to deal with people in Beverly Hills and people in Compton. That's the type of dude Kevin is. Always got that skunk smell on him. So if you ever see him, ask him to give you some of that skunk, because he got that skunk smell on him. And the funny thing about K-Dub, though, is when that nigga smoke, you would think he choking. You would think you have to call the paramedics. For a nigga to smoke as much as he do, everything comes up out of him, not come out of his mouth, but coughs when he smoke. And I'll be like, God damn, Kevin, this your first time? But that nigga is a choo-choo train. And him and Snoop probably be having some good times together. I can see why that relationship was so cool. But yeah, Kevin. Kevin's a writer. Kevin's was there from the beginning. He's probably one of the ones that went to the office with Eazy-E. I'm not saying he is, but I would bet my life on it. And I'm sure he was there for the allegations with Vanilla Ice. Because K-Dub and Suge was like that at the beginning. Wasn't like that at the end. He's the one that Suge tried to say, Reg Boy blocked me in on that documentary. He was talking about K-Dub, but he know that's his boy. But we all grew up together. We all know each other. But he was more Suge boy than he was my boy. He would ride with Suge before he ride with me these days, I believe. So yeah.
All right. What about Glencoe?
Glencoe, y'all hear us talk about Glencoe. Glencoe's Zeke. That's who your boy Keefe D always talking about that he was cool with from the mob that he used to serve and all of that. He don't do that no more. He went and did some time. I don't particularly care for Glencoe too much anymore because I really believe he tried to, or he could have helped Buntry more on that case that I eventually helped Buntry get out of with the gun case. I really believe Glencoe threw the gun and dropped it. Threw it out of the car on Buntry, and Buntry had to take that case and fight it. I almost had to do 7 years behind it. If for a plea agreement, probably would have did more if he would have lost. That's the only thing I don't like about Glencoe. But other than that, Zeke is, like I said, he was bringing money over to the hood back in the day. I hear he's a working man now, good dude now, working for the railroad or something. Then grew up and trying to take care of his family. He had to go do 12 years behind a drug case. I think in that ring with Keefe D and them, to be honest. I know he had to do 12 years and they tried to career him, do a career criminal on him, but I think he won that. Um, but yeah, he was the connection between the South and the mob dudes. And that's why we call him Glencoe, because Glencoe is the main street over there in Southside, Glencoe and Temple. So yeah, that's Glencoe, Big Zeke. Him and Suge used to always fight over girls, so they kind of used to go back and forth, war and stuff. Because he was one that could pull females as well. And he'll say, nigga, I ain't got to have money to pull bitches. Bitches be with me because they want to, not because they trying to reach for some money, get some money from me. And they used to go back and forth like that. But yeah, that was Glencoe.
Okay. What about people always want to know more about Poochie?
Poochie? Poochie from Kentucky. Now, Poochie, I don't know what Poochie claimed. I don't know if that nigga claimed mob or looters. I really don't know. Didn't grow up with me. I hear he didn't move to Compton area until he was about 16, or California, from Louisville, Kentucky. I didn't know Poochie until he came around Death Row. Um, didn't have many interactions with him. Just, what's up, Reg? Didn't, he wasn't around like that. I try to tell y'all about him. He would just come for special events. The pictures that y'all see that's floating around him, I don't know when that nigga was around to take pictures like that. But I know after that incident that happened with the bunny hunters, he wasn't around the homies that much after that because they were mad at him because he didn't do nothing on that particular incident. But y'all know what I'm talking about. And so they didn't really let him come around too much. And that's when Big Rock went and took the gun and caught his first gun case and tried to shoot it in the air. It was like, nigga, that gun didn't jam. Nigga, it worked. And then Rock got caught up and caught a case. And so I knew after that happened, they didn't really want him around too much after that. But Suge kept fucking with him. But that's Poochie.
All right. What about Whack Deuce?
Whack Deuce is younger than us. Shit, he probably could have the hood right now. He at that age group. But Whack got caught up when he was a youngster. Could have been still doing some jail time. But he got out of it. Whack is cool. Whack got up under the outlaws. She'll kind of assigned them to hang around with the outlaws because they was from out of town. And, was just trying to teach them the be safe areas, to see it coming. Because if I go to New Jersey, I won't see, or New York, I won't see stuff that coming that I know that I'll see coming in Compton, That ain't where I grew up. That ain't where my territory. And so that's all Whack was around them, just to look out, be cool, because they was all about the same age, and to look out for the outlaws. I think Whack called himself still an outlaw to this day. I don't remember, but I can't see that, knowing he's also mob, so I don't know. We have to ask Whack about that. But Whack Deuce was cool. Him and the Rillas are real tight to this day. Him and Willis hanging out. I know he was trying to push his son or his daughter, one of them, in the music thing. And Whack's cool. Whack Deuce is a youngster. He's out there. He's, on IG. If y'all want to ask any outlaw questions and stuff, he responds. We done had him on a few shows. And, while we got this camera stuff doing, I'll reach out to him and see if he want to do something to talk with us. And but Whack Deuce cool. Matter of fact, I know you got a relationship with Whack, John. So yeah, But whack is whack is whack. Whack Deuce is a cool dude. Yeah.
Okay. Warren G recently did an interview and he talked about how an incident happened with Suge on the set of the Regulators music video. I know that was maybe a little bit before your time, but I didn't know if you knew about this or had any insight as to what he's talking about.
Yeah. I don't know about it. I don't know about it. I know he talked about a war show and Nate not wanting to go to, or being told he couldn't go to a war show, and he told him, "We got you. I got 12 niggas with you and all of that." Well, where were those 12 niggas at when they took your chain, Warren G? What were those 12 niggas at then? Man, I love how all of these dudes now have gotten a little older, and now they got balls between their legs when they didn't have balls between their legs back in the day. It's funny to me when the mouse away, the cats when the cat's away, the mouse will play. All these mouses are playing now and talking because the cat is away, is locked up. Why y'all wasn't saying all this stuff back then? Like Warren G, don't have too many dealings with him. This was in the studio with him a few times. He's pre my time, the time he was hanging around Death Row. Now he got a different version of why he didn't sign with Death Row. With your brother, because he said the paperwork was bad. Okay, all right, Warren. But all I'm gonna say is, I've been seeing your boy Snoop lately, and he's been backtracking it a little bit, but where he said that he used to say he wrote all the Warren stuff, music. Now they kind of backtracked that after Warren kind of called him on it, and then they go to the Laker game and hanging out each other to show everybody that they cool and stuff. These niggas are such fakers to me, but anyway. Yeah, Snoop wrote that. We knew it. They didn't want to give Snoop the credit, and Warren just probably paid him on the back end and was looking out for him. Why? Why y'all think? Because guess who would have been all over that album if they would have gave Snoop the credit? Suge Knight Music Publishing. And so that's why they trying to battle, Snoop wanted to claim it then. Warren had to remember, man, that dude can come and make some claims with us right now. If you keep saying that you wrote all that music, because you were signed to his music publishing then. You were signed to Suge Knight Publishing. That's why we didn't do it back in the day. That's why you and Corrupt we didn't give y'all credit back then. Well, I just took care of y'all however I took care of y'all, because we didn't want to give Suge his 50% on my album. That's the real, y'all. That's what be going on. That be the stuff underwritten while people be forgetting their lies. It's so hard to tell a lie and then to repeat that same lie again. That's why I laugh at y'all. Reggie always lying. He's the police. I'm a liar because I was a cop. If that's why, I'll take that from you. But if I'm a liar because I messed up a date or something like that, then okay, whatever. But call me on a lie, really, that wasn't a mistake or a wrong date or something like that. Call me on it, please. Don't just say all cops lie. I ain't been a cop in 27 years. Maybe that cop shit is all in my system. Police hate me more now than they hate y'all. Because I was affiliated with dudes that was from the other side. And I ran with them and I protected them when they was about to get their rights violated or something. Trust me, they don't like that. That's like a gang member trying to get out of a gang or stuff. They think like that in some way. Younger and stupid ones. Not all. Everybody, some people understand. But I ain't never tried to be no gang member. Y'all ain't never heard the word blood or paru in a derogatory way towards somebody ever, or a way come out of my mouth, or you crip ass nigga or something like that. You ain't never heard that come out of my mouth. So I ain't never tried to proclaim to be a gang member. I grew up and was associated with gang members on both sides. I got indicted with a bunch of Crips. Mexicans live next door to my grandmother that would come and kill you right now for me if I asked, if I needed that. I'm cool with people that I'm cool with. People that hates me. That's all. That's it.
Okay. We usually talk about, some of the Pyrus and stuff that were around death row. Can you talk about some of the people that were on the other side, like the ones that hung around with the Snoops and the Dog Pounds and, that whole crowd of people?
Yeah, I'll name them. The ones that I think were certified or just studio gangsters or whatever. To give stories on them, I didn't have many. Let me go. Y'all know the tradee. Y'all know the Big C style, certified. My boy, I love his voice. I still love him as a rapper to this day. That got dog Little C style. Swoop G crazy ass. Um, y'all know Dads and Corrupt Fakers. Uh, Sean Dog. I see Sean Dog one time. Dads and Sean Dog got into it on the rear lot. Oh my God. I don't know how that dude, number one, stayed with us that day, but was able to walk. I saw Dad, but Dad put it down that day. They got into an argument or a fight in a limousine, and his leg was halfway out the door, and Dad kept slamming that door, kept just throwing it back and forth. I don't know how that man's leg didn't come off. But Dad was on that dude head that day. There was a dude named Little that was tight. Magic. Oh, Magic. I done heard y'all done heard me talk about Magic. Keita Rock, of course. How can I not name him first? Um, Nate Dogg, I told y'all about earlier. All of these dudes, Snoop. And I'm talking 95 on up. The ones 92, 93, I don't know much about. There's a guy y'all need to learn about that was with Suge to help them a lot at the beginning named Big West. Y'all need to do, he's still with Al Heyman to this day. He's real instrumental in helping Suge get off the ground. Him and a dude named R.B. Ron Brown that played for the Rams, Olympic track star. Daryl Henley. Suge cousins, Ronald Donald was there, but I gotta watch how I say this. People get mad when I say they not Pyrus or mob, and I don't be knowing that they be claiming that. But one dude called me from Texas that said that, and I was like, what? What? Really? Are you serious? But anyway, but Ronald and Donald, they grew up where we grew up at. But man, there's a lot of people that was affiliated that was around, that was solid. I mean, these dudes were solid. Suge had a crew. Yeah, Suge had a crew. And that's why he looked so weak or so bad later on. I mean, not downplaying the Denver Lane dudes or anything like that, because they were cool, but they wasn't loyal. They were just really trying to get in the music business. And there's a difference, dudes that hang around with you, they have motives versus niggas that just grew up in the sandbox with you. They look at you different and they do stuff for you more. CJ Mack did a song on my album with the Relatives where CJ Mack was like, nigga, we grew up together, nigga. I knew where your moms live. I knew everything. How can you do this to me? I can't believe that. I forget how the verse goes, but that song touched me every time I think about it. With CJ Mack and the Relatives, y'all pull that up and listen to that. That song was hard. Y'all listen to those lyrics. But yeah. Let me tell y'all a story about CJ Mack. On through a trivia. Why do y'all think he did that song on Two Gangster for Radio? Or Chronic 2000, I forget. Dissing Dre. Tell me why. I guess I have to answer it later. Or I'll answer it to y'all in the comment section. What was he mad about? All right. Go ahead, John.